My brother texted, "You're not coming to the wedding, we don't need pity guests." Mom reacted with a thumbs up. I wrote back, "Good. I'll cancel the payments." They laughed all evening, posting drinks and toasts. But when the caterer canceled at sunrise, the chat went dead silent, then exploded. Snapped everything. I wasn't supposed to see the group chat. That's the part that still sticks in my head. My brother meant to text his fiancée, not the whole family thread. But he did. And I read it while standing in line at Walgreens waiting to pick up a prescription for Mom. "You're not coming to the wedding, we don't need pity guests." That was it. No greeting. No context. Just that. Aimed at me. Then Mom, who was in the chat too, sent a thumbs up. No words. Just a damn emoji. I stared at it for a full minute. I thought maybe I'd misread it, that it was some inside joke I wasn't in on. But then the next few messages rolled in from my younger brother Ryan and his fiancée Danielle. They laughed. Literally. Laughed in texts. "Catherine's gonna be so dramatic. I bet she'll make it about her again. At least we won't have her weird energy in the photos. Cheers to the first drama-free family event ever." Bottle with popping cork. Mom still said nothing. So I wrote back. Just one line. "Good. I'll cancel the payments." I didn't wait for a reply. I muted the chat, walked out of Walgreens empty-handed, and got into my car without saying a word to anyone. Here's the thing they forgot. Ryan might be the golden child now, the one with the shiny career and the Pinterest-perfect wedding, but it wasn't always like that. I paid for a lot of things when he was still figuring himself out. Quietly. Willingly. Because that's what family is supposed to do. And when he got engaged and started planning this ridiculous $50,000 wedding, I said I'd help. Again. I told them I'd cover catering and venue. Because Mom said they deserved their day, and I'd been guilt-tripped into thinking it was the least I could do. I never expected a thank you. But I didn't expect open ridicule either. So I went home. Logged into the portal for the caterer. Cancelled. No refunds for short notice, sure, but that wasn't the point. I didn't care about the money. I cared about the principle. Then I pulled out the binder. The one I kept all the receipts and contracts in. And I started going down the list. As I was going to sleep, they were still posting stories. Champagne. Laughter. Danielle in her robe holding up her ring. Toasting, to cutting out the negativity. At sunrise, the messages started. First it was Danielle. "Did the caterer just call and say they're out? What's going on?" Then Ryan. "Kat? Why is the venue saying they can't confirm our booking?" I didn't respond. By 8 a.m. the group chat that laughed about drama-free events was flooding with messages. Mom suddenly had questions. Ryan sent voice notes. Danielle asked if this was some kind of mistake. It wasn't. And that was just the beginning. By noon I had 13 missed calls. 4 from Ryan. 2 from Danielle. 7 from Mom. The same woman who once told me I was too emotional to handle family finances was now texting me, "Please call me ASAP." I didn't. Instead, I made myself coffee and opened the binder again. There were still 2 vendors left. The florist and the photographer. I had prepaid both because Ryan didn't want to deal with money stuff. I sent out 2 emails. One to cancel the contracts. The other to let them know any future correspondence should go directly to the groom and bride. Then I sat back and waited. I wasn't doing it to be spiteful. This wasn't revenge. It was just me finally opting out of the role they assigned me. I was always the one who held things together. The responsible one. The one who never asked for anything in return. But when Ryan sent that message, and when Mom backed it up with that little yellow thumbs up, it felt like something quietly broke. Not loudly. Not all at once. Just this soft snap, like a thread finally pulling free. By 1 p.m., Danielle had shifted her tone. She sent a long paragraph about how things had been miscommunicated, and how family tensions are normal during wedding planning. She said they never meant for me to feel excluded. I left it on read. That evening Ryan called from Dad's number. I answered because I knew he wouldn't expect that. He started with a joke. Said something about how this whole thing got blown way out of proportion. Then he said it. That sentence I will never forget. "You're being dramatic." Again. That's when I realized he actually thought I'd come crawling back. I told him the florist and photographer were cancelled. He went silent for 5 seconds, then asked what the hell my problem was. I didn't answer that either. I just told him the contracts were in his name now, and if he wanted to rebook he could, With his own money. He hung up. 10 minutes later I got a text from Mom. Why are you doing this to your brother? No, hi. No, how are you? Just that. I almost replied. Almost told her about every little thing I'd covered for Ryan over the years. The rent payments. The car registration. The dental surgery he couldn't afford back in 2019. The one she never even knew about. But I didn't. Because it wouldn't have mattered. That night I turned off my phone and went to sleep. The next morning I woke up to 47 new messages. Apparently, Danielle's dad had refused to help them with the rebooking. Said if they couldn't manage the wedding they planned they should scale down. The venue was now fully booked for the next 9 months. The photographer had taken another job. The florist refused to return the deposit. Ryan posted a black square on Instagram with some melodramatic caption about betrayal. Danielle posted a photo of her crying with the tag #rough morning. And Mom? She posted nothing. For the first time in a long time she had nothing to say. By the third day the group chat was quiet. No new messages. No jokes. No champagne toasts. Just silence. I didn't delete the thread. I wanted to see if any of them would say something real. Apologize. Take ownership. But they didn't. Instead, Ryan started damage control on social media. Posted a photo of him and Danielle at a restaurant with a caption like, "You can't stop love." I noticed the comments were turned off. Danielle unfollowed me. Then I got a text from Dad. He doesn't usually get involved in these things, not since the divorce. But this time he did. He asked me if I wanted to grab lunch. I said yes. We met at this small Italian place we used to go to when I was in high school. He didn't waste time. Just said, I saw the texts. Your brother's out of line. I asked him if Mom had said anything. He nodded. Apparently she was furious but not at Ryan. She was mad at me for making things difficult. Dad said she kept using the word, embarrassing. He looked at me and said, "You're not crazy, Kat. You're just done taking their crap. That's not the same thing." I didn't cry. I thought I would but I didn't. That night Ryan sent me an invite to a new group chat. It was called Let's Move Forward. The first message was from him. We've rebooked everything. Small wedding. Backyard. Real friends. Family who matters. Hope you'll reconsider. I stared at it for a long time. Then Danielle sent a message. Said she wanted to apologize if anything came off the wrong way, and that they appreciated everything I'd done. No ownership. Just vague politeness and a smiley face at the end. I didn't reply. Then Mom messaged privately. Told me this was a chance to show grace. I almost laughed. Show grace. That's what they always asked of me. Be the bigger person. Keep the peace. Don't rock the boat. But I wasn't on the boat anymore. I'd stepped off. And it was the most peaceful I'd felt in years. The next morning Ryan texted again. So, you're really not coming? I answered this time. No. You made it very clear who's welcome. He replied, that's changed. I said, not for me. There was no fight. No long speech. Just that. Later that day, Danielle posted a story of her and Ryan building a makeshift altar in their backyard. He had a drill in one hand and a beer in the other. The caption said, love always wins. Maybe it does. But sometimes love also walks away. A week before the wedding I got a card in the mail. No return address but the handwriting was Danielle's. Inside was a formal invite to the new ceremony, backyard, Saturday at 3 p.m, reception to follow, casual attire encouraged. There was a sticky note inside. No pressure. We really do want you there. I left it on the counter and went back to my tea. By then word had spread through the extended family. My aunt from Minnesota texted me. What happened with the wedding? Your mom said you pulled out last minute. I didn't explain anything. I just said it was better this way. Then 3 days before the wedding Mom called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Her tone was different. Less clipped. Less cold. She said Ryan and Danielle were stressed and things had been said in the wrong spirit. That they were young. That I knew how he was. That I'd always been the responsible one. Then she asked if I'd just come, not to fix anything, but just to be present. That was the first time she'd said something that felt honest. So I didn't answer. 2 days before the wedding Dad called again. He asked if I'd made up my mind. I told him I wasn't going. He said he understood. Then he added, you know, It might be worth seeing how they handled doing it without you. I think that was the first time anyone acknowledged what I'd actually done for them all these years. Then Saturday came. It rained. Not a drizzle. Full-on downpour. Ryan had been so sure it'd be sunny, said he didn't want to waste money on a tent. I saw photos through Mutual's stories. Guests huddled under umbrellas, plastic tablecloths sagging with water. Someone slipped in the mud carrying a tray of deviled eggs. No live band. No flowers. Danielle's cousin apparently forgot the Bluetooth speaker, so someone played the wedding march from a cracked iPhone. By the time they said their vows, only half the guests were still there. I wasn't watching live. But someone, I think one of Danielle's old college friends, posted a video later with the caption, "They did it anyway. Barely LOL." Mom didn't post anything that day. Neither did Ryan. The next morning I got a message from Danielle. A photo of her and Ryan on a soaked couch, her hair still half curled. No makeup. Just them smiling weakly. She wrote, "It wasn't perfect but it was ours. We missed you." I didn't answer. I just watched the video again. There was this moment right before Ryan said his vows, where he looked around, like he was scanning for someone. It lasted less than 2 seconds but I caught it. He was looking for me. A week passed. Then I thought maybe that would be it. That they'd move on and I'd move on and we'd just become one of those families that sends each other Christmas cards with short, tight handwriting and the same photos of people you don't really talk to anymore. But then Ryan called. It was a Tuesday night. No warning. Just his name lighting up my screen. I almost declined it. I was midway through making dinner, still in my work clothes, hair a mess. But something made me pick up. He didn't joke this time. Didn't try to act like nothing happened. He said, "I messed up." I didn't say anything. Just let the silence sit there. He kept going. Said the wedding turned into something they couldn't even recognize. That after everything fell apart, Danielle told him maybe it was a good thing I didn't come. Not because she didn't want me there, but because they didn't deserve to have me there, not like that. He admitted the group chat messages were real. That he said those things. That Mom saw them and didn't push back because she didn't want to ruin the vibe. Then he said something I hadn't heard from him in years. Maybe ever. "I was jealous of you." I laughed. Quietly. I didn't mean to. It just slipped out. He said, "I always thought you made everything look easy. I never saw what it cost you." He talked for a long time. About how the wedding was supposed to be this perfect thing. About how they thought they could just scrape through and charm their way out of the mess. But the night before the ceremony, Danielle broke down crying in the garage. Said she missed her dad, missed her mom's old cooking, missed having someone in the family who actually knew how to take care of details without yelling or guilt-tripping. That's when Ryan said it hit him. That for years I had been that person. Quietly. Constantly. And they never once said thank you. He paused after that. Then he said it. Fully. Like he actually meant it. "I'm sorry. Not for just one thing. For all of it. For the messages. For letting Mom treat me like an afterthought. For expecting me to play a part one never signed up for." He asked if we could meet. Not to fix everything. Just to talk. Not as siblings. As people. I told him I'd think about it. And I did. 4 days. Not out of bitterness. But because for the first time I realized I had a choice. Before I would have said yes automatically. Because that's what I always did. But this time I waited until I was ready. I met him on a Sunday. 2.5 weeks after the wedding. We picked a cafe halfway between our places. One we used to go to back in college when he still wore band shirts and I still believed that family could be simple if you just worked hard enough to keep it together. He was already there when I arrived, sitting at a small table outside, 2 coffees in front of him. When he saw me he stood up, like he wasn't sure if we were hugging or shaking hands or what. We didn't do either. I just sat down, nodded at the coffee and said thanks. He smiled like he didn't think I'd actually come. The first few minutes were quiet. Small talk. Work, the weather, the coffee. Then he just asked, "Are you okay?" Caught me off guard. Not because of the question but because no one in the family had actually asked me that. Not once. Not during the wedding chaos. Not after. Not ever. I said yeah, mostly. Then I told him I was in therapy. That I'd been going for almost 6 months. He looked surprised, then said, "That makes a lot of sense now." I asked him if things were better with Danielle. He nodded then shrugged. Said the wedding kind of stripped everything raw. That they were rebuilding things slower now. Without pretending. Then he told me something I didn't expect. The morning of the wedding, he found Mom in the kitchen, staring at the window like she was waiting for something. She was dressed, hair done, holding a coffee she hadn't touched. He said she turned to him and said, "I don't think she's coming." And he told her, "You know that's on us, right?" Apparently she didn't answer. Just turned back toward the window and said, "We'll make it work." I asked if she ever followed up with me after that. He said no. That she told everyone I was just being difficult, and then never brought it up again. I wasn't surprised. Then he did something weird. He pulled a small envelope out of his jacket and handed it to me. Inside was a photo. From when we were kids. At the beach. He must have been 5, me maybe 10. I was holding his hand, pointing toward the water. He was looking up at me. He said Danielle found it while they were unpacking the last of their boxes. She put it in a frame, but he took it out and said he wanted me to have it. Said he'd forgotten there was a time when I was his whole world. I didn't say anything for a while after that. Eventually I asked him what he wanted from me now. He said, "Nothing. Just a chance to earn my way back." It was the first time I believed him. We sat there for almost 2 hours. Not fixing everything. Not undoing the damage. Just recognizing it. And when we left, he hugged me. Briefly. Awkwardly. But it was real. He said, "I hope one day Mom says sorry too." I said, "Me too. But I'm not waiting on it." That was the truth. Because I wasn't doing things for them anymore. I wasn't filling in the cracks they refused to seal. I wasn't the safety net, the backup plan, the responsible older sister with a wallet full of emergency cash and a calendar full of everyone else's problems. I was Catherine. And I finally knew where I ended, and where they began. A month later I got a card in the mail. No sticky note this time. Just 2 signatures. Ryan and Danielle. And one line written at the bottom. "Thanks for teaching us what self-respect really looks like." Kept that card. And the photo. Not as a reminder of what they did to me, but of what I stopped letting them do.